What on earth is going on? Why does everybody seem to be moving to Dubai? Well, in today's video, I'm going to see exactly why. What is appealing about Dubai and why it might make sense for you to consider doing the same. So Dubai seems to be the popular hotspot at the minute, with everybody on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, you know, relocating there, going there. You know, what's going on? Why is Dubai all of a sudden the cool place to be? Ultimately, why are people moving there? So I'm sure a lot of you have seen in previous videos about kind of how I personally am doing a lot of stuff in Dubai. We've got a company set up out there, and indeed it is on our horizons to actually move to Dubai probably within the next 3 to 5 years. So, you know, I'm looking at moving there. You're going to see why throughout this video, and then it's probably going to make sense as to why a lot of other people are considering moving to Dubai and actually moving to Dubai as well. So the first thing to mention is, if you've not been to Dubai, actually it's a really great place to be. So in terms of the service you get in restaurants, the weather is actually significantly better than the UK. Sometimes a little bit too hot, but ultimately everywhere in Dubai is air conditioned. All the cars are air conditioned, the taxis are safe and affordable, and the main thing is there's so much to do in Dubai in terms of shopping, eating, dining, activities, top golf, gyms. There's so much to do in Dubai that, you know, it's pretty impossible to actually get bored, because we've got friends there that have actually, you know, been living there for years, but they've still not done everything there is to do in Dubai. There's still places they've not been to, they've not heard of. There's always new things happening in Dubai, because there's basically a lot of investment in Dubai still. I think I saw somewhere by 2040 that Dubai actually want to double the size of the population. So as a result, they're putting a lot of investment into these areas that are going to help attract tourists and people moving there. And by all means, it certainly seems to be working. Also, you know, if you want to live there, they've got great infrastructure. You can get taxis most places. They've got trams and things like that. Healthcare is really good as well. They've got lots of private hospitals, and again, if you've got a family, you can get schooling there. You know, they've got English schools, American schools. They've got all of the different schools that do follow the syllabus, so it's pretty easy in terms of getting that education. They're just kind of some of the general factors that people are looking at. Additionally, you know, it's really safe. So in terms of living in Dubai, you know, one of the first times I actually went to Dubai, you know, usually when you go to Spain, Greece, England, you go to the beach, somewhere like that, you're really anxious about your personal belongings, your phone, your clothes. You try and take them with you, put them somewhere safe. But in Dubai, it was a complete sudden mindset shift that basically, you know, it's fine to leave your stuff there, it won't get stolen. And I was really anxious to start with, but I came back and it was still there. So crime in Dubai is really low. The main reason for that is they're very strict. You know, the punishment for crimes is so significant that people don't dare do anything. Unlike the UK, where, you know, you could probably steal someone's car and just get a fine. And because of that, you know, it's a great place to be. So there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of reasons to consider moving to Dubai. You've got the safe infrastructure, you've got the education system, and the main thing really is, not the main thing, but one thing is, it's actually quite affordable. So going to Dubai, you'll think, hang on a minute, it's got to be really expensive. You've seen it, everything they do seems to be the best in the world, and yet they do a lot of stuff like that that's really expensive. You could go to one restaurant or one club and spend thousands in one night, and you could go to another and spend 100. Really, they've got everything for every single budget. So you could go there and live a perfectly normal life. If you do want to have things like, you know, some things are expensive. Alcohol is expensive there. £12 a pint is quite typical. If you wanted a fry up with bacon and pork products, that could set you back £30. But other things such as rice, chicken, naan breads, and food like that is perfectly affordable and only a little bit more expensive than it would be in the UK. So accommodation and property, what's that like in Dubai? Well, I did a little bit of digging before making this video. I've got my notes here. So realistically, if you wanted to look at renting a property, again, you know, they've got something for everybody in Dubai. Whether you're at the very bottom end of the market and you want something really cheap, or if you want something crazy, they do have something to fit that budget. So I've got here a 1-bedroom studio apartment in JVC, Jamara Village Circle, I think it is. So that's about 10 to 15 minutes away from the Palm. So it's not quite central, but if you've got a car, you want to get a taxi, it's easy to get to most places. And that's 55,000 dirhams a year. So you're looking at probably about what's that, £12,000 a year, so £1,000 a month. That's similar to what most people are paying in parts of the UK. You know, Peterborough, where I am, you can probably get a 1-bedroom studio for about 650, 700. London, again, you know, it's gonna be a lot more than that. So in that case, Dubai is actually pretty affordable. On the flip side, if you want a 6-bed villa with cinema room, private gym, pool, and all these other kind of extravagant things, that will actually set you back 5 million dirhams a year, so over £1 million a year in rent. So that kind of just highlights that, you know, in Dubai there is something for everybody. You can live there on a budget, you can live there on a reasonable lifestyle, or alternatively, you could be a multi-millionaire and pay £1 million a year in rents. But you know, this is all well and good. I'm sure, you know, Dubai seems like a great place, but now let's get on to the real reason why people are moving there, and that is taxes. So taxes, you know, in the UK, they have been creeping up. I'm sure anybody that follows this channel, you're no stranger to that. Taxes are going up as a result of all this COVID stuff. Dubai though, however, you know, taxes, well, first thing is they don't really have taxes in Dubai. They've got, you know, VAT, a small amount on hospitality sectors, and then oil, they basically pay some corporation tax in the finance institutions. But for the most part, people that live in Dubai don't pay any tax. So it's one of the biggest, well, it's not the biggest, but it's probably one of the best or better tax havens because it's so accessible. If you look at Cayman Islands, places like that, you need a lot of money to even get a visa there, whereas Dubai, pretty much anybody can get a visa as long as you want to set your own business up there or do some work there. I just want to take a minute to say about the consultations that we're offering to property investors just like yourself. So often you're working with an accountant who does your year end, and that's fantastic. You really get along with them, but you probably don't feel like they give you good tax advice. They're not tax specialists. Don't worry, you're not alone. What we can do in these circumstances is just give you one-off tax advice and work with your current accountant who's great at accounting but not chartered tax advisors like ourselves. All you need to do to take advantage of this is go to www.jsmpartners.co.uk/tax-consultation. You can book in at a time that suits you, and you can put a whole list of the things that you wish to cover during a consultation. At the end, you'll receive a personalised tax plan that's going to help you pay less in tax and have clarity over your future. I've got a visa there. It's by setting up a company. It costs about £10,000 to set a company up, and then you pretty much get a visa because you've set your business up. You know, it's simple like that in terms of other people do most of the work for you, and it's basically just about buying your way in. £10,000, pretty low and affordable entry requirement. This gets you your Emirates ID, which basically allows you to rent a premises there and stay there. So why might you move to Dubai? We've covered those reasons, but from a tax perspective, for somebody currently living in the UK, a reasonable sized business owner, what exactly would you save by moving to Dubai? Because as we mentioned, things are a little bit more expensive. Alcohol, you know, pork products, living's a bit more expensive. So why would you actually consider moving there if it's more expensive to live? The answer, tax, of course. So we've done some numbers here. So we've got this, what we've based this on is a limited company owner who's got £250,000 in company profits. We've said that they've taken the tax-free salary, the 12,570, basically, which means you've got net profits in your company of about 237,000. On that, we're looking into the future here. So from next year onwards, when the corporation tax rates go up, you've got the first £50,000 worth of profits being taxed at 19%, and then between 50,000 and 250,000, the effective tax rate on those profits is 26.5%. So that's a total corporation tax bill in that company of just under £60,000, 59,168, which basically means you've got dividends that you could take as a business owner of about £178,000. So that gives you total income of £198,331, on which you're going to pay about £60,000 of income tax. If we look at this as a percentage, so in terms of that £250,000 of income that you've generated, or the profit that you've generated in your business, whether that's selling your services, your skills, selling online assets, you get to keep a mere 52% of that. 52% is what you get to keep out of that £250,000. That means the tax man, he's getting about 48% of that £250,000. literally just under half. I think, what was that? That's the Brexit referendum result there. The 58, the 48 and the 52. So literally the tax man is getting almost as much as you, and he's not even had to work for it. So this is why people are moving to Dubai, because what would happen here is you could run that service-based business from a Dubai company. You know, we're accountants. Most people don't care where their accountant is located. They just care if they do a good job or not. So we could be located in Dubai. Rather than paying 60 grand's worth of UK corporation tax, we could be paying it in Dubai, where at the minute it's 0% corporation tax, but they are increasing it to 9% on profits over about 100,000 US dollars. But, you know, hold on to that one. Anything over above that, it's 9%, but profits under that 100,000 US dollar or 375,000 dirhams are still tax-free. But what will actually happen there is, in that circumstance, you could pay yourself a salary, and that salary is tax deductible in that company, which means no tax. Because in Dubai there is zero income tax, zero capital gains tax. So if you are in this circumstance here where you've got your business doing £250,000 in profit, you wouldn't pay corporation tax because you would take the whole amount out as a salary personally, and of course no income tax in Dubai means nothing to pay. So in this example, by moving to Dubai, you'd be saving about £120,000 a year. Just by moving to Dubai, just by living there. You can see in other YouTube videos, you know, what has to happen in order to actually live there, how many days you have to spend there. Because what can actually happen is, once you've done this a little bit, once you've implemented this, you actually move to Dubai, you can actually still come back to the UK. Depending on the ties you've got here, if you've got a family, if you've got a home, they basically tend to impact the number of days you can spend in the UK in a tax year without becoming resident. But for some people, once you've gone through probably maybe the first 2 or 3 years, it's a little bit more difficult in terms of you have to spend less days. Once you've gone through that, from 3 years onwards, for most people, you can actually spend about 180, I think it's 181, 182 days in the UK per tax year without being a UK tax resident, which means paying no tax here, essentially. So that would essentially be the best of both worlds situation, where you've got that £120,000 a year saving, but you can still come to the UK and live here for about 6 months a year without paying income tax here. So that's what's possible, and that's why people are moving to Dubai, because, you know, financially it makes sense. It makes sense from a quality of life standpoint. It makes sense from a crime standpoint. You know, in London, in Peterborough, you can't even wear a Rolex around these days without being held up at knife point. I see it literally in Peterborough. Somebody was beaten up outside of a restaurant just because they was wearing a Rolex, had it rubbed off them. That type of stuff doesn't really happen in Dubai. People wear kind of really, really expensive watches, and it's safe to do so. So these are the reasons why people are looking at moving to Dubai. Of course, we've covered it from the tax angles because that's what we do here on the Joshua Tharby channel. But, you know, £120,000 a year, this is just for £250,000. If you think about this on a £500,000, £1 million, and greater scales, the tax savings literally just become even bigger. So this is why people are moving to Dubai, and this is why, if you want to save tax and you're kind of serious about living an international tax efficient lifestyle, well, you should probably consider it too. Hope you found this video useful. As always, please do give it a big thumbs up because it really helps me out, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Bye for now.